Good morning, beautiful lovelies. Just soaking in a mood, some vibes. Had a lot of anxiety and a lot of energy ripped through me, and my mind went cascading, and I've been having panic attack stuff and hormones. I'm a lady stuff going on, and it's been riding the waves of insanity to sanity. My hubby's been helping me get through it, being a rock, even though he was having pain really bad. And so I'm just shifting the vibe. The vibe has shifted today. A lot of intensity dropped down last night, and I'm ready to jump on the chance for some relaxation. I woke up this morning feeling like my mind had been set free of a lot of stuff. Just wanted to share this vibe moment with you. Got coffee shop ambience. So yeah, so I'm hanging out in a virtual coffee shop. Having a Black Betty joint. Just another day in the Ravenshimmers show. The world of La Ravenshimmers, the Queen of Love and Hope. Took this chance with this anxiety that shut up. I had a lot of visions of my life and how to work on my daily anxieties and heal some more. Been healing a lot, coming up from almost the grave for 10 years. My body's been getting better and better miraculously, but my mind, when it shifted into focus for some extra healing, some PTSD releasing and all that, and it pot boiled over. And in those moments where I was so scared and my mind was racing and going all over the place in existential thoughts and tangents, I was getting confused about reality and bringing it back over and over. Just had these hormone waves rushing through me, and then my brain would go, I'm like, oh, here we go again. Anxiety attacks, and my mind's trying to scramble to keep up with the hormones running through it and the vibes in the air. And quite a phenomenon of this last double new moon that just came through. Even the sides of me that get skeptical because I believe, and then parts of me, get tripped out by reality, by existence. But I tell you what, a lot of people felt this new moon. It was like, well, I guess there was an eclipse somewhere in the world, I think, too, possibly. I'm not sure about that. But there's been, like, it was just this it was a phenomenon. Like, so many people I love and care about, I log on Facebook, and it was the same days, the same, like, couple of days, day or two there, where we just, like, our minds just went and panic, and different aspects of our life, depending on what was going on in our lives, we just got shook. Our trees got shook, and we were having panic attacks and, like, nightmares, and it was really hot. So, that adds to it. Felt like I was cooking. I was having hot flashes, and it was hot. And my anxiety was making me, I'm like, woo! I felt like I was being cooked on the inside. Get some of that divine flames burning through us. Woo! But man, I feel like I boiled over and then shed a bunch. And I was trying to tell myself that during it, but I was getting confusion in moments. But down inside, it was like there was a steady knowing inside that I was going to be okay, and that I've been through rounds before, and that some of my best healing has been after a really rough patch. And life's just crazy, and not what life's a little different than I thought, and we're learning to roll with that. I'm just sending out so much love. thought about just taking this moment for myself, because my mind still gets overrunning on what do I do. Like I was having such a hard time for a while on making choices, and with like the spirit, some call it spirit guidance, some call it soul guidance, God guidance, mediumship, whatever you want to call it, the voices I started hearing in my mind that were telling me how to heal myself, and danged if it hasn't worked. And then I cracked open the whole world in there, in the soul. Still riding the journey and discovering more, but I have a lot of messages coming through me about good things, and that this feeling of something shifted, and to feel like we're like a feeling of retrofitting our new shoes, or our new, like something's going on, and there might be a little bit bumpy, but like just you'll see. And while my mind dipped down for healing so much lately, or really came into focus more on that, and my life, like some choices things I need to settle on instead of vacillating between for a long time. Should I do this? Should I do that? That have been tearing me up inside, making me feel like dual identity, like where do I go with my life? So many things pulling at me. But it's just like so much calmed down and settled, and I just feel a good things coming. And so I was gonna say, while this has been going on, I've been watching in amazement, as after over a decade, after years and like so much poverty and so much so many things being blocked in my life, so many things I'm trying to just keep, it's so discouraging over and over and over to have muse inside to do something, and then never panning out, and life just kicking back down over and over and over, and money just being everything for so many years of like just trying to figure out how you're gonna get toilet paper or food that day, or a place to live, like had stay with family, like put a trailer on the property and stuff, and homeless. And then things started to get better like a year or so ago, and then it kicked back down again. My husband lost his job, and then this time around, like him losing that job, he got this better job. I started to feel like I was gonna cry. The grace came through me. I've been having a lot of like emotionless numbness and feeling like a monster inside because I've been burnt out. But I've been learning this neutral zone isn't so bad. It just felt bad because I was such a happy, always happy, trying to be person, and that wasn't healthy. I realized that sometimes it's good to chill too, and let that side of you come out too, and honor even your grumpy side, and make sure that nothing's gonna boil over on you. But anyways, I feel more calm, and I want to keep instilling more calm and put out better and better quality content. That's been my goal. I've really been working on this for a long time, and I'm just going through a lot, but I'm seeing it develop and mature and grow. And so I have these visions of doing a more regular show with higher quality cameras, like being more dolled up, and then also being like, this is a big deal for me to show, like messy hair, don't care, like so many years of finally losing fucks and maturing to realize that you don't have to look dolled up all the time. And if somebody doesn't think that you're beautiful, like my husband thinks I'm the most beautiful, and I'm like, he feels bad because I'll be like throwing up, and he's like, you're so beautiful, like your eyes, like I know you don't feel good, but your eyes are like glowing, and you're so gorgeous. And I'm like, and my dad does the same thing with my mom. She'll be like mucking horse stalls and come back in, and my dad's like, you're so gorgeous, let's go to the bedroom type stuff. And she's like, are you fucking crazy? Like, she doesn't cuss, but she's like, are you off your rocker? Like, have you gone mad? Why do you always like, it's so attractive to me when I look like garbage. And like, it's so beautiful that my husband's the same way, and he's been this, like, he hasn't stopped doing that all these years we've known each other. We've been together like over 11 and a half years, 10 years marriage, over 10 years, and then 11 and a half years of living together, being together. And then we knew each other for many years before that. Online, we were in touch off and on. You know, through our different past relationships and stuff, we stayed friends. And he's just like, it's like I have a broken tooth. And that's mortifying to me to show. And my husband loves me so much every day that lately I'm overcoming a problem I've had since I was a kid. I had this problem that I was afraid to show my teeth because I have like, well, they're better now, but they used to be more fang type. Like, I just have teeth problems. I was born with enamel deficiency and teeth problems. It's part of some of my family have that, teeth problems, and I have too high blood pressure for them to work on my teeth and do oral surgery, and I have a lot of my teeth have broken and are leaving me, and they were mostly in the backs here and stuff, and now the front one went, and it crumbles and stuff, and it shows. And I'm like, you know what, it's character. If people knew the story behind it, like my own critical eye would look at somebody and be like, ooh, that's a tooth. The tooth is staring at me. I'm like, you know what, I just gotta keep going, like, and everybody's beautiful, and I can't tell everybody else that they're absolutely gorgeous. Every stretch mark, everything is that's just gorgeous character in their skin and part of their soul and their beauty, and everything about them is beautiful. Every molecule is beautiful, and I can't say that and then turn it around on myself and think I'm some troll. So, and I've been working on this for a while, but it pops up over and over, and unhappiness was making me regress and not be happy about my body again. But while I've been in this funk in my mind, because I was really rallying up and I was healing, like I have an aortic aneurysm. I was crippled from one doctor said seronegative rheumatoid arthritis, he thought at one point, and then he wasn't sure after that and backed off on that, but that's something that they've talked about, like a rheumatological, you know, I had problems. I'd pass out and throw up pretty regularly, like daily for a decade or more, and just like my heart roasted out, my body roasted out, so many things. Like I had like 8 specialists at one point. I spent so much time in the hospital, and that's just a distant memory. I can't believe I spent that. I was on death's door screaming and suffering on the inside. I used to watch that Metallica 1 video, song 1, where he's laying in one of those chambers that like an iron lung, and he's screaming, help me, help me, help me, somebody get me out of here, but no one hears him because it's in his head because he's in an iron lung. And that was me screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, help me, help me, help me, help me. And then my positive side rallying up over and over and over again, and my dreams lifting me up over and over and again. And then the dreams started to burn out because so many years of not seeing dreams come true and stuff. But I had so much miraculous healing, but I hit this burnout where like I started to feel better, but it wasn't like miraculously, but it still was suffering so much that I just stopped getting up as much, and I started getting like this jaded side, and then I found that side of me that I'd never experienced before in all these years, like unpleasant emotions that I'd never played with on the inside. If they'd ever popped up for a moment, I'd just push them away and be happy again. And so I didn't know what it was like to feel so unpleasant. Like I've been sad and anguished before, but like this grumpy side came out, and jaded and fatalistic, and I felt like the nothing woke up in me, and like the never-ending story where the turtle's like, we don't even care if we care. Like I felt like I lived so many eternities between visions I'd had in my mind and the day and grind of living, you know, in destitution and watching myself and my loved ones around me suffer so much. And then like the promises of things getting better, it just finally stopped. I started to resent them, and I started to not want to pick back up when my soul would want me to pick back up, and because there's a lot of up and down of life, and I finally just stopped wanting to get back up, and I wanted to die at a certain point, and but my insides wouldn't let me. I would never do anything about it. I'd just freeze up, but I'd be like feel like I was in that iron lung screaming. And even when my own mind was telling me to shut up and I was feeling mean to myself on the inside, like that I need to get over it, I'd still just be like this silent suffering. And then I've just really been waking up lately, like, and I thank God or the existence, however this is all working, that I'm having it, maturity come up through me about how to like push through and to let go. It's a lot of letting go, but also not letting go of certain things, and it's like finding when to like attach and when to detach, and when to fire up and say, you know what, this hasn't been happening, but I'm still doing it, and when to say no, that certain things need to be let go. And one of the things I need to let go was expectations, and more like dream, and then let the dream balloon go out, and then let it go again, and then go back to your daily, and just keep like, don't get fatalistic and think my dreams aren't going to come true. You believe in your dreams, because that helps, you know, believe in it, like live it, be it. But being adaptable, because I'm finding, and it's really woke up an angry side of me, because I spent so many years laying there thinking of how my life was going to go when I got better, and then it went other ways I didn't expect, and I ended up loving those ways, but I hated them because they weren't what I wanted. And why is everybody else's stuff, why am I living somebody else's life? I don't like this. And then I realized I was just being like that. I need to drop the story that I'd made of how things were going to go, and I need to just like chill and look at what's around me, and then think about where I've been, and then I started falling in love with things around me. Like my husband, I started listening to my callings to do things that I didn't want to do. Like my husband loves Star Wars, and he knows so much about Star Wars, and all these years I finally, like, being sick and grumpy and you know, or just like trying to keep up with the world and input coming in me, I was like, I can't process all this, like, information. And then I started realizing that I was like falling in love with it. There was so much, like, there's a lot of really good spiritual and life wisdoms in Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love the old ones. I grew up watching them, but I just didn't know like the database of lore that comes with it, and it's grown quite a bit through the years. And I didn't like all the movies as they progressed, you know, like. But that's another example. And then I went back and revisited them because of Charles, and like I feel like the universe is poking me to find that sometimes things you'll fall in love with that you didn't like, if you listen to your insides. Like some people I've seen eat food, they try a food and they didn't like it, and they try another bite and they're like, wait a minute, I liked it better that time. And they're like, that's weird, it gets better the more I do it, but I hated it. What's going on? Like some things are like that. And so sometimes we get a little prejudiced against what we don't like and we just avoid it. And a lot of the spiritual stuff and motivational stuff I've been seeing was talking about releasing everything negative in your life and kicking everyone out of your life that's negative, and that's very, 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 very good advice, but it's not the full picture, and it's not for every single situation all the time. It's, you know, you learn to gauge when to do what, when, you know. And so I started thinking, have a maturity wake up in me, like more clarity coming to me in the fog that I've been in. That there's great like Facebook memes and things that'll help motivate you, but then to remember to let go of them too in moments, and think that everything isn't just one snapshot meme quote. There can be more aspects to that situation. Or like if you see somebody else going through something similar to you and it goes a certain way for them, that doesn't mean it will for you. You know, like that can be that way in relationships. Like if you're going through a relationship and you're trying to work through hard stuff, and you see others too, and some of them get divorced or break up, and some of them stay together. And so then you start thinking, oh, am I gonna break up? Am I gonna stay? And you start, you know what I mean? Like, so I've just been like more and more learning how to listen to what others say and take it in, and then also tune it out and do my own thing and live my own path and dip the toe into others' worlds, see what they're up to, and then be in my fortress and make sure things are going the way I like. Something that keeps popping up in my mind is try new things. I love this show on the channel on YouTube, The Try Guys. And I also like Justine and Rosanna Pansino and Jenna Marbles and Julian her boyfriend, and there's lots of others. Brandy TV, Brandy with an I. There's so many others. I feel bad only mentioning a few, but those are some of my spirit animal favorites. My favorite peeps that have been lifting me lately, or for a while on some of them. But yeah, trying to think. I heard something lately about I've been rocket blasting along in my rut. I felt that. Oh, I felt that. Because I've been going and going and going and going and going and going on introspection and energy, and I'm going to do all the things, while a lot of stuff was sitting in a rut. So it's like a hamster in a cage, in one spot, but going. So I'm trying to jump out of my rut and jump into other new grooves. But checking back in with myself to make sure I'm keeping my identity. Or as Guy Tang, the hairdresser and singer, says, my identity. My identity. And that runs through my mind that as you, this is coming back to me too, I see echoing for us, for you out there and for me, for all of us. You know, we have some of us have the collective awakening messages and visions in our minds that have woke up, depending on your path. A lot of people have had that last few years, since 2012 and stuff. It can get you can start feeling like you aren't allowed to have an identity because some people say, oh, you shouldn't have ego or this or that. But what comes through me, I literally start dying. The light goes out of me like it's like a sunflower with no sun if I don't have an identity and authenticity. And I get so many messages about being one of the most common things I heard, or regular things I heard back in the day in my mind was to be relatable with everyday peeps, and what type of people I'd been around, or type of thinking and community and all that, to be relatable and to pull back to earth, but to allow a more expanded self to enter and get confusing, realign, because I keep waking up, no matter what I envision, I keep waking up here, I keep waking up on earth, keep being in the body, so let's make what's around us nice, even if we go into worlds in our minds, still gotta, say head in the stars, feet in the ground. And when I turned this video on this morning, it went through my mind, look up ambience videos. And when I clicked this one, I was transported some jazz music. Not a type of music I usually listen to, but it just gave me that feeling of living in America, back in the day, watching old movies. My grandma would watch jazz singer movies, and just kind of the day-to-day life, strumming a guitar. Oh, it comes through my mind too. Talk about turning pain into and energy and stress and anxiety, using our hands and turning that into productivity, like art, putting our soul, letting it flow through our hands into art or whatever it is you're into, or projects, or a business, or kind of like, you know, life has ups and downs. So let's start to accept that there's downs. And that maybe some people were saying that everything was just going to be magical and wonderful, and in a burst of light we were all going to just like be magically happy. And there's moments like that, but there's still, unless that happens, then we just don't have problems no more. Until that happens and stays, life has ups and downs. And so why not ride that bitch, so to speak? Ride the waves, you know, like, let's ride it better. Yeah, we got disillusioned. We hit our 20s, 30s, 40s, and life sucked more and more, and we thought it was going to be a certain way, and what the heck, man? It's like post-apocalyptic or dystopian seeming in this world. It just keeps getting worse, and it's like, well, okay, so how do we ride it better? Once we get over the anguish and the butthurt and the what the fuck of life, it's like this maturity kicks in, or this wisdom kicks in. It's like, how do we ride it better? Where do I focus my energies best? And so if I'm in mind spirals, why don't I put that into a project? And then if my mind is still spiraling during it, at least I now have some art I can sell or put on the wall or give away. And if it doesn't turn out and it looks like junk and you don't like it, and, well, do something else. You know, you still made it through some more moments of life. And just keep going. And do nice things for yourself. You know? Get yourself some coffee or some tea. Rose! Bless you, beautiful, beloved goddess, divine. I love you so much. Like, I was flowing here, and then a little track in the back of my mind's going, worry track's going, should I end this video? Like, am I talking too much? You know, that back thinking, even though I was flowing, I still had that little bit of chatter now and then popping up. Like, no, I'll stay. And then Rose pops up. Yeah. It was popping in my mind, the word social media. I felt the spirit animal calling me. The social media was siren calling me in. Go find your peeps. I have such a better day when I see my peeps. I love you, Rose. Honestly, Rose, you're one of the most, let's say, pillar the foundation in me of love and friendship. And like, even though we live far away from each other and we talk intermittently and we used to talk more online, like, there's so many people that come and go in life and don't come back, and I mourn them. I miss them. I feel like there's millions of people I met that were beautiful souls, and then I never saw them again. And man, I love when one of my favorite peeps through the years pops up. It feels so, honestly, Rose, I'll be honest, I just thought, oh my god, I'm so glad I kept staying alive even when it was really hard, so I could see Rose again. That's how much I love you. It's like a checkpoint in life. Like, yes, I'm still here, so I could be here today and say, hi, Rose, you matter to me, and I'm part of the reason I'm alive is because you popped up to say hi and love me through the years. That's one thing about enough trauma and enough time of getting over shyness and losing the fuck, is you start to realize what's important. And that you should tell the people that you love them even if you feel weird. That I'm a better being and I'm alive, partially because of you, Rose. Thank you. You made my day. With happy tears. I was feeling burnout and emotions, so to feel this much love is astounding. It's a miracle. It's like God God mode woke up in me. Love. And it's like some of those moments, you know, angels like you, Rose, that you meet in your life, like, you have an amazing energy about you, even when you don't say much and I just see your name. Even if I just see your name, it gives me this, like, blast of, like, it's like a love Care Bear blast. You are a magical being. Don't sell yourself short. You're walking around this earth not realizing maybe that you light up people's life just by being you, and you didn't have to even say anything. That's how much love is in you, and I can feel it across the way. Thank you. Let's see, Rose is talking to me. Aww. Just so you know, Rose, anytime that I've seen, like, I'm not coming in and saying hi to you and stuff, my mind is a blender, and I forget my own name. I forget my own, like, I get amnesia. I started realizing how much amnesia I get in brain fog and stuff, you know, like, life is so all-consuming, and so just know. And I'm going to try, something I'm going to work on is this chaos and fog I've been in for so many years from being sick and going through so much, is like, if I have to write a list on my wall or in my dresser drawer or something of my most, like, people I need to make sure I check in on, and I ask my soul to remind me, but, you know, stuff happens, life's crazy, but I want to, like, I don't know, I want to show the people I love that I love them. And I'm realizing there's this thing inside of us where somebody can gush about how they love us, but if they don't keep being in our life, it's like, I don't know, there's just something different about it when someone, like, goes the extra mile and, like, reaches out, even if it's just every few years to say hey in an email. There's something about that, someone thinking about you and writing. I want you to know that I love you, Rose. You can come on my page anytime you want, and I have a lot of stuff I'm working on in my life, and goals and dreams, and a lot of health, I'm coming up from a lot of trauma, from abuse and from other stuff, but also my health journey. And that screaming inside, feeling helpless for so long, and then seeing so many miracles, and now I gotta get my mind back in the game. That life, yeah, it has hard parts, but it's still worth it, and that I still want to be here, and that not only do I want to be here, not only do I want to survive, I want to thrive. I'm taking people with me, going up, because the more we can get ourselves to be powerhoused up on the inside, making sure we fortify our own worlds, the more we can, as a collective, as a, you know, world community, rise. And I tell you what, like, we have moods, and those moods are not necessarily what we are completely. It's an aspect of us, and we choose whether we allow a mood to come into our actions, you know, and whether or not to allow those, if it's something that's unpleasant, whether we allow it to stay or not, and act out on it or not, etc. But people around us remind us who we are, even when we start to forget or we're grumpy. Like, these hormones going through me, I was having, like, this not nice feeling inside of me, and I'm like, ooh. I started to understand why people say that they'll lock themselves away when their inner rah comes out. I just hadn't experienced that much. And so it's like, well, my hormones are crazy. I've been through a lot of trauma. I've been living in a fishbowl of confusion, and, well, I've been coming up through this brain fog. And, well, I'm a lot of whack, and I found my grumpy side, but I hold it in there. And it's more of a feeling. It doesn't even necessarily have to have words or thoughts of what it wants to do. It's just a feeling of, and it feels awful. But it makes me relate to others more. it also makes me realize that I need to honor this inner grumpus. You know? Go like scream in the woods or kick a tire. Gotta let that shit out. You gotta honor all the modes in you. Give them a chance. Like if you have a wild, we have a wild side that might want to be kinky or a little naughty, So make sure you do something that you feel good about afterwards, that you can find out what's your outlets and your ways that you can honor those different energies and modes in you without making yourself feel bad about your life, like making sure you're authentic to what feels right to you, but find your healthy vices. Yeah. Oh, I love you so much, Rose. Yeah, I don't do a lot of text messaging much. I think that as my health, I'm not there yet. It's sometimes every now and then I give my number out, but I usually end up backing off it because I share my phone with my family, and if there's a lot of text coming through, my son will have it and stuff, and so, but I was gonna say maybe we could call or video chat sometime, or I'll send you videos or sound clips. Just so you know, Rose, if you poke me, I have a fishbowl memory, and if you poke me, on Facebook, even if it's a day from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, or a day from now and 2 days from now, however little or much you want, you can drop messages in my messenger. Oh, and I do this every now and then. I get a calling every now and then because I don't use Messenger much either. I mainly stick to my Facebook groups and my page because I just get overwhelmed by keeping up with a lot of messages. But I have a few tribe crew people that are my family that I offer this to. That you can write me anything, and I'm offering this to you, Rose. You can write me anything, anytime in my messenger, and think of it like a Dropbox. And that maybe I'll see it right away, maybe I won't. So when you drop stuff, and you could drop one thing, if you want to drop 20 music videos that you like, for as little or as much. If you're having a rough day and you just want to say, Amy, can I just vent to you, and just drop 10 paragraphs? And then, and just remember over and over again that there may be gaps in my replying, but I get callings, and I'll feel if I should go check and see your email, and then I may or may not be able to write you at that time, and then I don't want to worry about if I can't write you back right away. So this is what I do with a few people, is that you can write anything you want and then I will get back to you when I can, and we will ping each other now and then, more or less as we feel the energy and the calling and all that too. So a lifeline. And think of me like a voice in your mind that you can talk to. Ravenshimmers. You can talk to your spirit animal, Ravenshimmers, and you can just drop things. Or if you're excited, you saw a cool video, a cute puppy video or anything, just drop it in there. You have that invitation, and I don't give that out very often. So yeah. If you ever having a day where you feel like you're at a breaking point and you just need somebody to tell, if you feel up to it, come to my go in Messenger and PM me and say, Amy, I'm having a rough day and I just want to drop it here. I want to have that more in my life and offer that to others. Let's be lifelines. Lifelines with maturity that understand that we have lives and that we don't always have the energy or the mood or the circumstance to constantly write each other. And then sometimes maybe we'll be bored and have not much going on and can talk a ton. And then life gets crazy again. So I love friends like that, where we can, we always know that we got each other, even if One wrote the other, and the other didn't reply for a while. I still love you, and I'm here, and I'm just lifing. And if I ever write you and don't write back, or if you ever write me and I don't write back for a while, you're welcome to poke me again and say, hey, you still around? Because you're Rose. You can do that. Yeah, Rose, you talked about bouncing yin and yang. That's literally, like, I had this vision. I started having visions because I didn't grow up knowing this stuff. And so it came from the inside and clashed through me while I was sick and fighting to live and all that. Came through me, that I was so love and light and sweet and passive and carrying others and never saying no and draining myself, and it was killing me. I would have died. And then I couldn't go on that way anymore, and I love them, I love people, and I love so much that I don't want to ever say no or be unpleasant, say something unpleasant that needs to be said. And then maturity or a wisdom woke up in me because I was praying for the wisdom to love more like I love. How do I love more? Like, how do I make my actions better in my love? And how do I love more effectively? And so it went through me tough lessons of learning that that the world isn't all one thing, and, you know, like having a balance. That my inner queen, my inner guard, my inner goddess had been sleeping, and I'd been a little fairy sprite, but I was going to be eaten alive energetically and mentally, physically, if I didn't wake up my sassy side and be sweet and spicy. That's my terms. Some say the feminine divine and the divine masculine. Some say the different, what do they say? I'm trying to remember. But yeah, there's a lot of terms around the world, throughout cultures and history. But I say it this way: I found my spicy for my mild. That's Amy language. Found my sweet and my wild. Soft but mighty. Soft and strong. I tell you, and it's not just women, but I tell you, women, we go so tender and so soft, and yet we learn we have to go hard. Some of us have it naturally, but sometimes you gotta go hard, and sometimes mama gotta be a bear. She gotta fight for her cubs. She's also the one tucking them in and nurturing them and kissing their boo-boos. And that can go through a lot of aspects of our life. That kind of, you know. And the helpless side of me was floundering around, feeling. And then I started realizing that some of the things I thought were the worst things ever were just, they were a gift. My soul was not happy. And that if I wanted to keep going on earth, keep alive, I literally had to remove a bunch of barnacles off my back in life, people, relationships, and it's exhausting. Because my nature, I just go into camera mode and sensitive, and I go online, and people will be so mean, and you never know when, and then they'll be so sweet, and then someone will say something, and it'll just knock me asunder, and I'll worry about what they said. One lady told me that I'm too old to have long hair when I had long hair, and she was probably about 15, 20 years at least older than me and had longer hair than me, or almost as long. She had long hair. Not longer than me, but long. So I was like, wait a minute, old people can't have long hair, but you're older than me and your hair's long. I'm confused. Another lady, but it really messed with me, like, well, that one didn't really mess with me as much as there was one that said, you take pictures sometimes where you're not looking at the camera. You should always be looking, like, directly in the camera, like, that looks better. And it's just, like, came out, like, just, you know, people coming around that, say stuff, and you're just like, why? Like, all I do is go online and spread love, for the most part, or some rock music, or whatever, and someone gotta come and, like, give me unwanted critiques. Like, when I used to go to my parents' church, well, they call it a Kingdom Hall, but I used to go to my parents' church, and they'd be like, someone would come up and be like, your skirt's too short. I'm like, no, it's on the line of where my family allows it. And they're like, yeah, but when you sit down, it raises up and it's slightly above your knees. It's supposed to be at your knees. Or they come up and say, you're not wearing nylons. That's indecent. And I'm wearing like a long skirt and sandals, but they're like, you're not wearing nylons. You shouldn't be showing your bare skin. I'm like, so I can wear see-through, flesh-colored nylons, and that's decent. But a see-through layer not being on me is indecent. That's how it was when I was growing up. It was like, people gotta say, like, oh, you don't look so good today, or oh, what's wrong? I was like, thanks, that's what I needed to hear. Thank you. I just needed your input, didn't I? And the soft side of me just caves when these people do this. And so I've been working for a while on, no matter what mood I'm in and how tired, like, I would just sink in my mind and be what that person wanted me to be over and over and over again. It's frustrating the crap out of me, because I'd look back later and be like, I don't remember writing that to those people. Like, I would let people run me over. I'd be later on and be like, I don't remember that happening. And I started realizing that I would just, like, get anxious, and I would check out, and I would just write whatever they wanted, and then I would tune it out because it was too stressful. And so more and more and more I'm working on reclaiming, or finding my, well, it runs through me, reclaiming my divine right and authority. Woo! It's like you can't, I thought it was just one person, one aspect, and then I started realizing you have to be a team, and it messed with my mind. But if you think of yourself as a team, and you don't want to let different sides of yourself down, and so, like, I need my inner guard to make sure that my sweet side, my inner child, is taken care of. And I started realizing that, like, if I don't feel safe, I started having, like, hallucination type feelings, like feeling like moments of delusional, like I couldn't get my mind to come back, like it was running away. And it was just boiling up that I've got to, progressively, I can tolerate less and less drama and BS and drain on me, and it's beautiful. I had visions of this happening, that I would literally have to keep changing my environment more and more, because my essence wouldn't even take it. Like, I get the little bit of stress and I'm like, oh, I feel sick. It's like, oh, triggers to help me know that, okay, I have more stuff to fix. When you start to see more and more results, it does get encouraging. So I want to put that out there, that I've been on this road for a really long time. It's felt like eternities, and I am being blessed. I am being blessed so hard, so much. Right now, I have been in poverty, and I've seen everything in my life. It felt like, it wasn't everything, but it felt like so many things were being blocked, and I was like, I felt like God hated me, if there was a God, or existence was just trying to, I felt like I was in a torture device experiment, a psych ward experiment of life, and that, some forces out there just, like, think that we should just suffer, and why don't they fix it? Or if they're not causing us suffering, why aren't they fixing it? And then more and more I'm realizing that there's more to the story. There is beautiful blessings. You can find joy and see the beauty even when you're in a bad mood, because life is gorgeous. It is. And we can do this, and we're helped. That's where my hope kicks in, and my knowing is that we're going to be okay, and that right now I'm experiencing miracles so much. And I've experienced so many miracles. I've had miraculous healing that doctors are just like, you know, this dead person all of a sudden that has incurable stuff is all of a sudden like a bunch of stuff's gone, and I never went to the doctor again for like 2-3 years. And I used to live as a doctor, I felt like, doing doctors on my couch or my bed. And but the fun stuff in life like has just been locked up a lot. A little bit better, but still so much. And you know what? I've come into a stroke of good luck lately. I've started seeing the number of 13, lucky 13. I just keep having money come in. And there's still so many things that need fixed in my life that most people have that I don't. Or that a lot of people, I shouldn't say most people, but as far as I'd known before, there's certain things you have in life. And I don't have money for that stuff. And so it just sits on the burner and waits to get, you know, like, I got cold water. I live camping style, but like it's an RV, but I have a bathtub in it, and I'm looking into getting a hot water wand and a camping shower, because it has a shower. I don't use the, long story short, we don't want to use the propane, and we don't really trust the lines in here. Like, my husband's nervous about that, and so we like to use electric. And so we've been jerry-rigging life, figuring out how to get by, and then good luck's pouring in, and we'll see how it all goes. But while my mind got to go to, my traumas have got to come to the surface and heal, and it's been really hard, I've been watching around me more and more money come in, more and more things work out. My landlord's being awesome because we're behind on rent. I'm watching. Now we're helping take care of my neighbor. It's so beautiful. Like, we can barely take care of ourselves, and now we're helping take care of our neighbor. And he does things like building like community. Like, we're helping my husband's mowing his lawn every week right now, and then he'll drop us a little nug of weed or some dabs as a thank you. It's so sweet. And like, it means the landlord doesn't have to come around and mow. And like, there's just like, there's just been so many burdens lifted. Boom, 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 boom. It's been uncanny. I'm just like, wow, so many years of feeling like life's boot just kept pushing me further and further under, and I'm watching more and more and more good stuff happen, but I'm too emotional to appreciate it enough. And then I'm feeling like, but I'm working more towards it, you know? I do laundry now. I fill up the tub and I wash laundry, and then I hang dry it outside, and I spend all day, and I may not feel good, I have anxiety, but I am working. I've been frustrated that my mind has been in the focus, because my physical, like, I can do so much more now, and money's starting to come in at a little bits for a little this and that I could elevate in life. And I'm like, I want to get my head in the game, because there's so many more things I could do. So when I have days where I feel like I'm able to like push up and rally and do more in the physical, and oh my goodness, I'm just like busting stuff out. And then it's amazing, like, or how like I've been so much having it come to me to take like I did this painting and it turned out beautiful, but while I was doing it, I was so tormented on the inside and anguished. And I like to paint when I'm happy. I did not want to paint, but it went through me, you need to paint. You need to paint, you need to paint. And I've been having that calling so hard. And it turned out beautiful, and I was like, wow, it felt like transmutation. It was like all that torment, and then this beautiful angel feathers heart painting with purple violet flames. I'm just like, wow. That's amazing. And I could really do my Etsy business, and that I've been working on for years. I've been training how to make handmade artisan cold processed soaps and different crafts. And my dream is that my husband won't have to work outside the home, because we're better off, or at least if I can get well enough to where we're okay when he's at work more, which I'm working on. Being able to talk to you all helps so much too, because he's at work right now. And he's like, if he leaves the house and I drop, Like he helps carry me and support me so much. And it's like we're like a Wi-Fi hotspot. We get away from each other, and the other one just starts like dropping. But me especially with my health. But I want to get to where we're doing what we love and meeting other people and making handmade, soul-filled, soul laced with love and good vibes and products to sell and to help fund my charity work with my charity Starry Nights Hope Foundation and into tiny homes. And I think it'd be really neat to travel some and vlog and I was really nomadic. I move around because that's the way it used to be. And then like when I was growing up, I think we lived at like 20 places or more by the time I was 18. My dad, we moved a lot for his jobs, and he worked in the woods, so we needed to move around to different areas. Oregon, Washington, California. And so I moved a lot, and I was used to moving, and I had this I'd get really antsy if I was in one spot for too long. And I found Seattle. I love Seattle. I didn't want to leave there. I spent a good part of a decade there. But even when I was there, I would still move around to different areas, neighborhoods and stuff. And then the universe threw me into a decade of a lot of it being in a trailer. The same walls staring at me. So then I learned how to sit a long time. Which sucked. I went through that too growing up. I felt like I was trapped living with my parents being so culty, religious feeling and rough. Didn't like my home life, parts of it I loved, parts of it I didn't. Wanted to get out, wanted to be 18, and so that trap feeling again. It was like years and years and years staring at the same walls. And then as coronavirus went down, and I thought, well, there it is, the visions I had of the rest of the world going through what some of us have been going through, but having it in their own time and it being staged out to where some of us went through it first, so we'd, be able to pass on with support. Like, hey, me too. Let's learn some things to do while you sit around. Let me tell you what. And then I swear, being an empath, however it works, quarantine went down, and I'd been doing really well with being at home, even though I still had fight or flight, like claustrophobia. I'd learned how to, be at home. And then it was like, with so many people in the world feeling cooped up, it entered my mind, I swear. Like, I started out like feeling of hallucinating life, like not feeling like people were real, like they weren't real anymore. I couldn't remember them, being with them physically, like it was like a dream too, and I couldn't remember the feeling of it. And I was tripping out. I feel like the more, and I couldn't go visit. I'd finally gotten to where, after years and years and years of not being able to see people and being sick, see people much, I'm blessed. I live in this beautiful little neighborhood in Longview, Washington. I'm in awe. I feel like I live in heaven. This is a spot of heaven. This is one of those things where I was saying life surprises you, and you think life's trying to like murder you or make you hate your life, and then you fall in love with where it went, and you're like, tricky. But I was crying and upset about moving to this area. I'd heard stories about here growing up, and then I'm just in this little pocket of heaven. So beautiful here. And I can walk about a little over a block to a weed shop and a convenience mart. And it used to be a bakery, now it's a dog place, and there's other stuff. And then a couple of miles away there's a little town, and basically 2 miles in a couple miles in different directions, there's civilization. And there's a river. So I can walk like a block to a river beach, block or two to a river beach, and I love water. And so like I've been watching things get better around me while I've been in and out of being able to appreciate it, right? Some resentment from, well, there's this manifesting movement, and there's really great things about that, and it's really inspiring. But then you gotta remember too that like there's making the dream, you know, coming up with the dream, putting it out there and making it happen. But there's also like being adaptable, because sometimes life's like, well, you know, there's this other thing you might like better, or okay, you're gonna do your dream, but it's gonna be a little different than you expected. And then sometimes the way we envision it came out exactly, and it's like you're in deja vu of your dreams, living it. So be adaptable. Telling myself that too, because I know it and I forget in moments. And the amnesia of life. Rose said, she said, if you ever travel, come to the East Coast and come see me. Yay! I love the East Coast. I cried the first time I went to New York when I was 16. My uncle married this absolutely amazing lady, a black lady named, her head just went to him, and Shelly. Oh, I love her. Her family is amazing. They're Jamaican, and they had the most amazing wedding. My family's from Oregon, and then my uncle married this lady, a Jamaican family, and oh man, that was such a neat thing. So neat to go out from Washington, Oregon, and go out to New York and go see a spicy, beautiful Jamaican wedding, fun dancing, and oh, so much fun. They're beautiful souls. I love her family. But yeah, so when I went out there for their wedding, which was like a dream, I cried, because when I was in New York, I just felt like I'd come home, and now I was being ripped away. Like there was such a feeling, like I felt New York so hard. I loved it so much. I knew that's where I needed to be, and I tried to move there for so many years. I just knew that's where I needed to be, and look, I still didn't end up going there, but I love it. And who knows, maybe I'll go back. Oh, I definitely did not survive this long and not travel. So, what state do you live in? I know. Somewhere in my memory, I'm sure. Well, I don't know, but I'm sure you've told me. Because we used to talk about where we lived in the Cafe Mom groups and stuff. But if you're still here, where do you live? Is it Connecticut, or try to pull it up? Can't remember. I traveled when I was, this music's great. When I was 17 going on 18, I traveled most of the main 48 states and 7 countries in Europe. I went on about a three-week motor coach tour of 7 countries: England, Austria, Switzerland, Holland, France, Germany. I think that was 7. I should say another one. It's not Holland. And then I also went to Mexico and Canada. So I did like a driving across the U.S. with my aunt and uncle, and then I flew out from New York to Europe, and then came back to New York, and then drove, like, on the way across the U.S. we went north, and then on the way back we went south states. So I hit like the East Coast and went down the coast, and Florida. I knew that, Rose. I knew that. Derp. It's okay. I remembered your name, so that's good. Got that. You know, they call that cognitive fog or cognitive, you know, I get fuzzy and I get confused. I'm trying to input data. I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, where in Florida? Are you near Titusville at all? I'm gonna set my phone down. I was so scared about today. And then I was having this calmness come through me, and knowing that things were gonna be better by last night. But I was like going through such mental anguish with these hormone rushes and mind-going thoughts and all that. That was hard to believe. And then I was nervous about today because my husband went back to work, and I'm like, how am I gonna be alone? And then it just, this calm came on me, and then I get to talk to my rose. Yay. Okay, so this is beautiful. I'm like, this is miraculous. Oh, I know. Little jazz dance. Do do do. I found a way to set my phone down if I use this Dr. Seuss tin. I can set it down and see that handle. I can set the phone angled in it to brace it so it doesn't fall off my dresser. Or my team do that. Woohoo! We have success. I feel blessed too because we thought we had to pay $300 to our Comcast bill because we were months behind. They let us delay it because of the coronavirus stuff. And then we found out that they dropped our bill. We didn't know they dropped our bill to like a $25 a month plan. Our internet had been going a little slower, but we were still fine. And just like lag out a little bit sometimes. But we didn't even know that our bill was going to be, like, we thought it was going to be way more. And then it being up $300, and we're like, whoa, that's way cheaper than we expected. And then we thought we were going to have to pay it all right away this month. This month. And then they said, hey, we have because of COVID, we have a payment plan on the amount that you owe, and it would be $50 a month. We're like, wait, so we thought we had a $400 bill this month, and that was already much lower than we thought it could have been. And then, or my husband thought it could have been. And then it ended up being $300 or just short of it. And then they're like, oh, well, you can just give us $50 right now. I'm like, this hasn't been the type of stuff that has been happening, I mean, sometimes, but like, it's just like, what? And we were already getting back, like, we've been trying to figure out how to survive, let alone, like, get a little of this extra, that and that done, like me getting my hair dyed. And my husband is like, he dyed my hair, he did such a good job. And he has been going nuts. Not going nuts, but he's been so excited about getting more right away. He wanted to, like, we did it, and he's like, I want to go buy more so I can put even more on my next paycheck. I want your hair to be really blue and purple like you want. And it's like, it's a little bedraggled because of the heat and what I've been going through is sweaty, but so it's darker right now. But I think when I haven't washed this color yet, so when I wash it, some of it will come out. But I was still happy with what I got, and he's like, I think we're gonna be getting you some more hair dye. And I have enough to do that, and I have enough for joints and dabs. And I was able to get CBD oil, and I've taken CBD before, and it was like more of a multi-supplement approach. I never really noticed much that it did much for me on its own. And then I started, sometimes I would think it might, I wasn't sure if it was in my mind, but I thought it might be making my tummy a little happier, my stuff a little better, but just still didn't feel much from it. And then I tried CBD oil, and while I was having panic attacks, because I've been having like messages pop up in my mind and cravings for CBD, and I wasn't a big CBD person, hadn't done a lot for me except a little bit. And then but I'd like to be taking it. But as far as like when you have a certain amount of money and you have to get the most bang for your buck to heal you in that moment. And then I felt like it helped me, and my husband too, because he gets seizures in the nerves on his face, and he had that, and some people get suicidal from that. They used to call it suicide disease or something like that, trigeminal neuralgia. It pops up intermittently, and it went away for a while, it came back, and he doesn't take it very often. He had to take some anti-seizure medicine, a little dose of it. He don't like take much. They want him on it regularly, but he just takes it like sometimes a year or two will go by and he'll end up taking like a pill or two to get through a round. But yeah, he takes it as needed in a moment. He doesn't want to be on it regularly because it's strong, nasty stuff that makes you drowsy. It's not nice to your body. Anyways, he actually took CBD oil. He doesn't do stuff like that. And he thought that it might have helped calm him because when you go into that kind of pain, and then when you're not used to it, I think that's one of the reasons. I just realized I think that's one of the reasons why people would commit suicide, having that illness, because it's in your head and it's so acute that it's all consuming, and when it happens intermittently and you don't get to like adjust to that level of pain, so it's like someone stabbing you in the head out of nowhere, and it could go for hours. He'll have like 6-8 hours go by, he doesn't even remember. He's like hallucinating, crying out, twitching from the electric shocks in his face. But he felt like the CBD helped him. He's strong. He's like such a healthy person. A lot like heals through stuff well, even when he doesn't eat the best and all that. Drinks a lot of soda and all that. But he's healthier than well. I mean, he has stuff to work on. I'm sure we all do, but sometimes that face pain comes through him, and so I felt like electricity came through and shook us up. Heat and electricity knocked some of us asunder. Storm. Okay, so I'm reading. Oh, you said Jacksonville, but only a couple hours from Titusville. And you said you want to go to Europe so bad. I'm drawn to certain countries. Okay, I want to talk about both of those. So Titusville is where my husband's son lives. I think he just turned 18, if I remember right. And, yeah. Oh.